He asks if the whole reward was just bait to get him here in the first place. And yeah, you and I both know what this is, the moment you realize you walked right into a trap. He shouts that it's unfair, but the principal just plays innocent, asking what he means. He reminds Subai that as a student of Jiangsu Martial University, it is his duty. His responsibility to bring glory to the school, a classic guilt trip. He then dangles the prize in front of him. Doesn't he want the resources from the league? Apparently, the rewards are pretty generous. Subai asks if he's right about one thing. The league is packed with absolute monsters. Getting a good rank isn't going to be easy. He tells the principal it's definitely not that simple, but the old man just brushes it off. He calls Subai timid and just orders him to go back and get ready for it. He's to report to the training room tomorrow morning, and he better not be late. Subai, completely outplayed, can only agree. The principal has him cornered. The principal thinks to himself that kids these days are getting way too hard to fool. While Subai realizes the rumors about the principal being a cunning old fox are absolutely true. The next day in the training room, the principal starts his big briefing for the team. He informs them that this year's 100 Schools League is organized by the military. And while the resources they get from the Ministry of Education are limited, they're nothing compared to what the prestigious schools get, like the top dogs. We're talking Imperial City Martial University and Magic City Martial University. Despite that, he still expects them to achieve better results than before and begins roll call. He calls out Hu Qingshu from third year, a bronze intermediate wood ability user. In the background, Yancheng starts complaining to Manny about how unfair their situation is. Since Jiangsu Martial University was established later, they have it tougher. The training resources they get are way fewer compared to the old, famous schools. Manny agrees, saying she heard that their school's rankings have been pretty bad. In fact, in all the previous years, their performance has always been quite low. The principal then calls out Subai's name, and he confirms that he's present. After finishing the roll call, the principal addresses the 10 chosen students. He tells them that all 10 of them are representatives from their school this year. They are the most outstanding students from each and every grade. And then he drops an absolute bombshell. Trust me, you're not ready for this. He announces that this year the captain of the school's league team will be Subai. Everyone is stunned silent. Subai shouts that there must be some kind of mistake. But the principal calmly explains that making Subai the captain was a calculated move. It was a decision made after a long discussion with the entire school committee. The principal insists that Chingu is the strongest of them all, in both skill and experience, so why would a freshman like Subai be made captain? Tian Xiang jumps in, telling the principal that Subai is just a bronze-level power user, a whole rank below Chingu. He demands to know why Subai deserves to be captain. But the principal just calmly reminds them they've all seen the news lately. Subai has the power to take down a gold-tier vicious beast. He then adds that if any of them want the captain's spot, all they have to do is slay a gold-tier beast themselves. Do that and he'll replace Subai on the spot. Ning Bing scoffs, asking who really knows how Subai even killed that beast, suggesting it could have just been a lucky fluke. Tianyong agrees, shouting that he doesn't buy it for a second. Tianyong then points right at Subai, challenging him to a fight, but Subai just raises both hands, a full-on surrender, and stick with me, this is where it gets interesting. Ning Bing challenges him too, and soon all the seniors are glaring daggers at him. Panicked, he quickly explains he had no idea about this whole captain thing. Meanwhile, he's thinking the principal has gone way too far, wondering if this was all a setup to make him public enemy number one. The principal just walks away, telling them to go back and prepare since there's nothing else to discuss. He reminds them there are less than 20 days until the league starts, and he's looking forward to seeing what they can do in the competition. Subai immediately bolts, thinking to himself that the principal sure knows how to make a quick exit. Tian Xiang yells after him, asking where he thinks he's going. But Subai just says he has something to do and is heading back to the dorm first. Ning Bing calls him a total coward, saying there's no way he believes he actually killed a gold-tier beast. Tianeng tells him not to worry. Just wait, once the league starts, he's going to make Subai regret everything. Later, back in the men's dorms, Subai tells Xiao Ba he's in for a feast, pulling out a bronze-level core from his bag. He notes that the principal kept his promise and wonders if 15 bronze tier beast cores will be enough for a level up. He drops the core into Xiao Ba's bowl, while Xiao Ba shoves Ba away from its food. Subai reassures Ba he's got something for him too, and places a Kai blood elixir in Ba's bowl. Its level is too low, so he figures an elixir is the best way to start. But he's stunned when he sees Xiao Ba has already devoured its food, muttering that it sure can eat a lot. He starts tearing up, realizing that each of Xiao Ba's bites could be worth hundreds of thousands or even millions. His jaw drops even further when he sees Xiao Ba still trying to get into the bag of cores. He asks if it's still hungry and wonders just how much it needs to eat to finally evolve. So he dumps all the remaining cores into the bowl, warning it that if it doesn't evolve this time, all future resources are going to Ba. Ba happily agrees to this deal. But right as Xiao Ba finishes all 15 beast cores, a massive burst of energy erupts from it. Subai's eyes light up, it's finally happening. Okay, you and I need to see this. The evolution power from both pets causes the entire dorm to shake violently. The other students panic, wondering if they're in the middle of an earthquake. A moment later, a system notification pops up congratulating him. Xiao Ba has upgraded. It's now a bronze intermediate, with its stats and talent level massively boosted. Let's kick things off with a massive power-up, shall we? Subai laughs seeing Xiao Ba has finally evolved. He notes that while its talent count hasn't changed, the attribute values and talent levels have definitely gotten a major boost. The system congratulates him again. Bai has upgraded to high-level normal. And it's awakened a new ability, Ghostly Phantom Step, as its stats shoot up. Bai now has 3 skills under its belt: Sharp Claws, Bloodthirst, and that new Phantom Step. Subai proudly pats Bai's head, amazed by its progress. Its agility stat is through the roof. He calls it explosive growth. With both pets finishing their upgrades, he checks his own status window. He's received a 30% boost from Xiao Ba and 20% from Bai. Not to mention a slight bump in his own stats. Feeling satisfied, he shouts with pride. All that's left is to unleash their new skills on the stage of the 100 Schools League. The next day, he arrives at the Jiangsu Martial University Library. And he's blown away by how massive the place is. The librarian tells him the library existed even before the university itself. It's the very foundation of Jiangsu Martial University's heritage. She takes his ID, surprised that a freshman already has 180 credits. Then she points him toward the Beast Tamer section he was asking about. She tells him to feel free to look up any information he needs. He thanks her and starts browsing the shelves. He's amazed to see there are actually quite a few books on beast taming. He figures it's gonna take a long time to read through all of these. Then he spots a book by someone named Luo Fan, a name that feels strangely familiar. As he starts reading, a passage catches his eye: the heavens and death converge. The undying soul, divine weapons gather, sacred beasts armed. The roots of grass and trees as origin confluence. He stops dead. He's already mastered origin confluence, so what are undying soul and sacred beasts armed? He's so lost in thought he doesn't notice the seniors nearby, until Qing Zhu recognizes him. But then another guy scoffs, saying a beast tamer has no future, no matter how much they study. Tianxiang tells Qing Zhu they should go, leaving Su Bai to his books. Let them walk away, trust me, they're going to regret ever looking down on him. Su Bai hadn't realized Senior Luo Fan was so powerful he created 3 divine skills: Origin Confluence, Sacred Beasts Armed, and Undying Soul. This man had single-handedly fought against an invasion of all the tribes, a true hero. But it's a tragic story. Luo Fan was eventually outnumbered and fell on the battlefield. Realizing he has to read this book carefully, he focuses back on the text. But suddenly the book flares to life with a blinding red light. He panics, wondering what's going on as the book begins to float. A strange power flows into his body. A moment later, the librarian rushes over, asking what the matter is. He just asks if he can borrow the book, handing the strange volume over to her. She immediately notices it doesn't have a classification label from the library. He insists that can't be right, since he literally just took it off the shelf. She tries to open it to check, but the cover won't even budge. She puts all her strength into it, but it's like trying to pry open solid steel. Subai is just as shocked, saying that can't be possible at all. All right, stick with me here. He'd just been reading the book, so he casually tells her to let him try. He takes a look and boom, it opens effortlessly, completely shocking the librarian. So he asks her how it's possible she couldn't open it, and she's just like, maybe something was wrong with it before. She tells him to just take it and read. He can bring it back whenever he wants, so he clarifies he can borrow it forever. She just says yes. The moment he leaves, the librarian makes a call. She immediately phones the principal, reporting that the special book he'd left out was just taken by Subai. The principal literally jumps out of his chair in shock. He can't believe Subai actually managed to open that book. But the librarian confirms it. She saw the whole thing with her own two eyes. The principal is thrilled. He tells Liupan that the person they've waited for has finally shown up after 100 long years. He says if their old friend in the underworld only knew, he would be absolutely ecstatic. 2 weeks later, it's time for the 100 Schools League. A reporter announces that the league is split into 5 massive battle zones. East, South, West, North, and Central. Each zone gets 2 qualifying teams. She adds that all 8 martial universities from Jiangsu province will be here. They're all gathering at Jiangsu Martial University to throw down. A vlogger starts his stream. He tells his viewers that tickets for this year's 100 Schools League were impossible to get. So he's gonna livestream the entire competition for them, with some giveaways along the way. Meanwhile, a student in red calls out to her rivals in blue. It's the Longying Martial University students. She's taunting them, asking if they really have the guts to be here when they're just gonna get smashed. But the Longying students just fire back, saying we'll see who gets beaten. They call the red uniform kids trash from Fuhai. Inside the arena, the crowd is hyped. In the player waiting area, teacher Yin is taking roll call. She asks her students if everyone has arrived. Kingu says Subai isn't here yet. But everyone else is ready to go. Tianxiang starts to worry. He asks if their captain Subai is actually going to chicken out at the last second. And right on cue, a voice asks how he could ever back out. You and I knew he'd make an entrance. Subai proudly announces his arrival. Yin looks at him, totally amazed. She can't figure out why his strength feels like it's taken a massive leap when it's only been a couple of days. She tells him it's good that he's here. The matches are about to begin, so they need to get their formation ready. But he just tells her not to worry. He's already got the whole thing planned out. Suddenly, Kai's voice booms over the stadium, demanding silence. He reminds them of what happened just a month ago. The Myriad Beast clans launched a massive offensive, pinning down the military. Their main forces were tied up on the front lines. But smaller groups of beasts slipped past the lines and attacked several provinces near the military bases. The Martial University students in those provinces got hit hard. They were nearly wiped out by the beast clans. Fewer than 1 in 100 made it out alive. Kai roars at the crowd, his voice full of passion, asking if they should get revenge for that. The students and teachers scream back in unison, they must avenge them, they must win. And they must kill every last one of those vicious beasts. Kai praises their spirit. He says with this burning desire to protect humanity, how could the beasts not be wiped out? And with that energy, you can just feel it. He declares this year's tournament has officially begun. And that was the entire point of the 100 Schools League, as it officially kicked off. Let's dive right in, because this is where our boy completely shakes up the tournament. The rules are simple. 5 fighters per team, loser gets eliminated on the spot. The winner moves on, and the last team with anyone left standing takes the victory. The last man or woman standing on the field secures the win for their entire team. After explaining the team battle format, he told the players to start the random draw. The monitor flashes, revealing the first-round matchups. The host gets things started. The first teams are called to the field, and Chingu turns to Yin, surprised. They actually drew Qing Yun Martial University for their first match. Yin points out that Longying already fought Shinmen, and their own lineup is still up in the air. Just then, the principal strolls over and asks Subai if he's sorted out the lineup. Everyone greets him respectfully, but Subai just calmly and confidently replies. For the lineup, he'll go first, and the other 4 can just figure out their own order. Yeah, you heard that right. His response leaves the whole team completely speechless. Chingu finally manages to ask if that's seriously his strategy for this. He argues they should have a plan based on Qing Yun's own lineup. Tianxiang agrees, telling Sabai he can go first, but then asks him a simple question. What happens if you lose? It would be a huge embarrassment for their entire university. But Sabai just smiles, assuring them he won't let them down. The principal, meanwhile, notices Sabai's power level has jumped like crazy. It's only been a few days, and he's stunned by how fast Sabai is growing. Leaning in, the principal whispers to him, giving a bit of friendly advice. Don't go too crazy, and at least leave a little bit of the glory for your seniors. If he makes enemies of everyone, school life is going to get a lot harder for him. A moment later, the first match ends. Longying Martial University loses to Jinmin. Jinmin is looking incredibly strong this year, taking down Longying that fast. And with that, it's Sabai's turn to take the stage. As he walks out, he proudly tells his teammates to watch him closely. This, of course, completely ticks off Tianxiang, who is already annoyed. He grumbles to the others that he wants to see what Sabai is really made of. But Yanren, Gagang, and the other students cheer for him as he heads to the center stage. He faces his opponent, a man who smirks and asks a condescending question. He assumes Sabai is the famous freshman who managed to kill a gold-tier vicious beast. Sabai doesn't even flinch, he just nods and says, I am. The opponent introduces himself as Squad Captain Leling Fun, a mid-bronze rank fighter. He activates his power, promising to show Sabai what real strength looks like. Sabai, however, just bends down and calls for Xiao to come out. Ling Fan is confused, asking if that little thing is his tamed beast. Now pay attention here, because this is where the disrespect reaches a whole new level. He was in a rush this morning, so he didn't get to eat breakfast yet. As Xiao stretches, students from other schools start to wonder what's going on. They start shouting, mocking him for bringing a little turtle to a serious competition. Someone even yells that Jiangzhou University must be scraping the bottom of the barrel. Yin just stares in disbelief, watching Sabai casually eat peanuts on stage. You and I both know this isn't just confidence, this is a masterclass in humiliation. Underestimating his opponent, reminding everyone Ling Fang was only mid-bronze rank. Meanwhile, Su Bai sits down on stage with a cola, and trust me, you're about to see the most epic flex. He tells Xiao Ba not to embarrass him after eating all those beast cores. Xiao Ba plants himself on the floor and unleashes a crushing wave of power. Ling Fang starts to wonder if that turtle is even Su Bai's tamed beast. Then pay attention, Xiao Ba starts getting bigger, morphing into a massive black tortoise. Ling Fang screams in shock, calling it terrifying as the entire arena watches on. The whole audience is stunned, watching as Xiao Ba's body expands to a monstrous size. The crowd starts shouting, his skin looks like solid armor shining like polished metal. They figure he could crush anyone with a single blow. Yanren just smiles. She realizes Su Bai has gotten even stronger, while a shocked Chowin asks when Xiao Ba got so huge. Su Bai just casually shakes his cola, ordering Xiao Ba to finish the fight quickly. Xiao Ba then raises his hand, confusing Ling Fang for a split second before easily slapping him away. Now on the ground, Ling Fang can't believe how fast it all happened. Su Bai tells him to hold on a little longer because he wants to finish his drink first. Furious, Ling Fang thinks Su Bai is being unbelievably arrogant. He gets back up, convinced that first hit was nothing more than a sneak attack. He decides to focus all his power, determined to prove himself right here. Ling Fang activates his ability, turning his entire body into golden stone and roaring. He yells that they're about to see who's really tougher, then jumps and launches his rock fist. Xiao Ba simply slaps him away again, this time sending him flying off the field. Yuzhen, still in shock, asks if it's already over, realizing Su Bai actually won. The principal just laughs, saying that this younger generation is truly something else. Tianxiang just shouts what everyone's thinking, Xiao Ba is way too strong. A man in the audience asks if the captain of China Martial University is an idiot. He can't understand how Ling Fang failed to dodge such a massive attack. Another man responds that the first guy clearly doesn't get physics. He explains that while Xiao Ba's movements don't look fast, it's just an illusion. His sheer size makes his speed completely deceiving. The spectators start shouting. They call the turtle unstoppable, amazed a mid-tier bronze user couldn't stop it. But another guy scoffs, reminding them of a creature that's already proven itself. This is the beast capable of slaying a gold-tier monster. It was never a fair fight. Chowan turns to Yanran, asking if he remembers Xiao Ba being this strong before. Kai then announces Django Martial University's victory in the first match. He then calls for the next contestant from Qing Yun Martial University to come forward. Jangan steps onto the stage. She's also at mid-bronze rank. She hits the stage and we all know her game plan: don't let that monster get close. She decides to rely on pure speed to win, immediately dashing from side to side. Moving at incredible speed, she makes Xiao Ba dizzy just trying to follow her movements. Kai announces that Jangan is using her speed advantage to stay safe. She's staying just outside the range of the giant turtle's attacks. The audience cheers. They're shouting that this is exactly how you're supposed to fight him. Jangan keeps moving fast, thinking that if she can find a single opening, one clean strike would be enough to win this entire match. Yun points out to Chingu how she's dodging, looking for an opportunity, while Xiao Ba can't land a hit. All his friends agree Subai is seriously underestimating his opponent. Just then Zhongwen lunges at Subai, who's still casually eating his snacks. Xiao moves to intercept, trying to box her in with his movements. But she's fast, dodging him just in time and landing a short distance away. Then she charges straight for Subai, shouting that she'll just take him down directly. In her mind, it's already too late for the beast Tamer to do anything. Yuyan screams a warning, realizing Zhongwen is going straight for Subai. Yanran cries out for him to be careful, but he doesn't even flinch. He just keeps sipping his soda, completely unfazed by the attack. She swings her sword, confidently declaring that he's already lost. But before her blade can even connect, watch this, Xiao is right there to block her. One clean slap from his tail sends her flying. The audience is stunned. The sheer speed, the raw power of that counterattack, Yanran sighs in relief. Tian Xiang can't believe it. Did Subai seriously just win again? He complains it all ended way too fast, and even Chingu has to admit it. Yeah, Subai is the real deal. He casually walks over to the injured Zhongwen. Stretching, he complains that he's finally full from his snacks. He tells her she got way too close and that Xiao might have hit her a bit too hard. He even gives her some advice: heal up fast. Zhongwen knows she lost and nods. Walking back to Xiao, Subai smirks and declares he's finally getting serious. He looks over at the other team, a grin on his face. So who's next? Subai then demolishes the third contestant and calls for the next one. Again, he takes down the fourth fighter without even breaking a sweat. He's so bored he even takes a selfie mid-fight. I mean, you gotta love the absolute disrespect. And just like that, he defeats the fifth contestant and wins the entire match. The whole audience is in shock. This guy won while eating peanuts the whole time. He let his pet do all the work and still wiped the floor with them. They've never seen such a wild, unrestrained fighter in their entire lives. Some are screaming that he's unbelievably cool, while his friends start a chant. 1 versus 5 but still number 1, and soon other students join in. As he steps off the stage, he can't help but think the chant sounds a little off. Almost like they're calling him a turtle or something. Yin just congratulates him. The principal is overjoyed, saying he single-handedly took down the mighty Qing Yun. He brought massive honor to Jiangsu Martial University. Subai thanks them for the praise. Yin tells the team the morning matches are done, and it's time for a break. After lunch, the second round begins. The team can finally relax for a bit. The principal then announces that during the leg, the school cafeteria is totally free. He encourages all the contestants to eat up and get their energy back. Subai's ears immediately perk up. He has to confirm what he just heard. Free of charge, the principal assures him absolutely, and with that, Subai is gone. Meanwhile, in the Fushun University lounge, their principal is prepping his students. He warns them that if they face Jiangsu next, Subai will definitely be sent out. One student points out the obvious: Subai's pet is basically unbeatable in close quarters. He asks the question on everyone's mind: how in the world are they supposed to counter it? The principal replies that if they really do end up facing Jiangsu, so Martial University's Malai has to take on Subai, and one of the female students agrees. She points out their team captain is a poison user, meaning there's absolutely no need to get into close combat. Malai just nods, promising them that when the time comes, he'll keep his distance and just use poison to wear Xiao Ba down. Meanwhile, over in the Shinmen Martial University lounge, their principal is giving a pep talk. He tells his students not to let it get to them. Sure, Sabai is strong, but his weaknesses are also painfully obvious. He explains their only path to victory is to find the perfect opening, get past that turtle's defense, and defeat Sabai directly. Shinmen's team captain Li Feng completely agrees with the principal's plan. He tells his team that if they run into Sabai this afternoon, he'll take him on personally. He thinks Jiangshan's strategy from the morning was actually the right call. She just wasn't fast enough to pull it off. The principal agrees, reminding Li Feng that as a speed-type fighter with enhanced skills, his best bet is to wait for that one perfect moment to strike. Hours later, Kai is back on stage, announcing that the morning matches were intense. He praises all the students for their amazing performances, their sheer guts, and their relentless fighting spirit. He then declares that the second round of the competition is about to start. And trust me, you can feel the tension. First up, the random draw. In the crowd, someone jokes that it feels like the rest of Jiangsu's team doesn't even need to show up, since Sabai is strong enough to solo every other school by himself. Someone else chimes in, saying it must be awesome to have a teammate that broken. But then, another spectator warns the Jiangsu team not to get too full of themselves, reminding them this is just the provincial tournament. Once they go up against martial universities from other provinces, Jiangsu University is going to get absolutely crushed, so badly they won't even be able to hold their heads high. Ouch. Chang Xiang turns to his own teammates, admitting that Jiangsu always struggled to keep their heads up in the past, but now with Sabai carrying them, the rest of the team feels even more useless than before. Kai then announces the results of the second round draw. For the Provincial League, the first match is Sabai from Jiangsu Martial University versus Li Feng from Shinmen Martial University. Li Feng hears his name and just figures. Yup, just as he expected, Jiangsu sent out their ace Sabai to lead the charge. But he's actually relieved, because they've already cooked up a strategy designed specifically to shut him down. Sabai just tells him not to look so tense. Just hang in there for a little bit, it'll all be over soon. Kai then announces the start of the match. Li Feng, a high-level bronze rank fighter, immediately boosts his agility and yells at Sabai not to be so arrogant. Then he activates his skill Clear Wind Step and starts moving at insane speeds. Xiao Ba tries to attack, but Li Feng is way too fast, easily dodging everything. Seizing an opening, Li Feng launches a powerful kick right at Xiao Ba, putting all his strength behind it. But when his foot connects, Xiao Ba doesn't even flinch. I know what you're thinking, and yeah, it's wild. Li Feng's eyes widen in total disbelief. No matter how much power he uses, he can't even begin to break through Xiao Ba's defense. The turtle then attacks with its tail. But Feng manages to jump back just in time to dodge the blow. The audience sees Xiao Ba can't land a hit and starts laughing, shouting that the little turtle looks provoked. It's howling over and over, and that's when one guy asks the question we all have on our minds. Had a shot at winning if he charged Sabai, but another guy just wasn't so sure. He figured Feng might actually have a chance, asking if everyone was just dissing Sabai's pet for being a little slow. Meanwhile, Feng was busy trying to bait Xiao, and Chingu realized he was trying to pull Xiao away from Sabai. This made Yushin wonder what Sabai was even doing and why he wasn't strategizing. Tianxiang then pointed out that Sabai seemed to be looking for something. But they all watched in shock as he simply grabbed a bottle of soda. All while Xiao was still busy chasing after Feng. A few moments later, Sabai's just casually sipping his drink, not a care in the world for the fight behind him. Feng suddenly realized that at this distance, even a tail swipe was useless. Seeing his chance, Feng charged straight for Sabai, screaming that he was being underestimated. He launches a kick, shouting that Li Feng will make him pay. But watch this, it's not gonna go how he thinks. Sabai just calmly calls out to Xiao, who immediately activates his gravity skill. Just like that, Feng freezes midair like a statue. He was completely stunned. He had no idea what was happening or why he was suddenly paralyzed. Feng then drops hard onto the floor. Seeing Xiao's little display, Sabai tells him to quit playing. Time to end this. Xiao unleashes his Black Tortoise gravity power, aiming it straight at the still-floating Feng. Feng tries to yell for him to wait. Desperate to know what was coming, but Xiao just lets the attack fly. Feng is sent rocketing into the audience seats, tearing right through them from the pure force of the impact. The crowd finally got it. It wasn't that Feng was weak. It was that Subai was on a whole other level, and yeah, I think we can all agree on that. Most admitted they would have surrendered instantly rather than face that kind of power. A girl from Feng's team turned to her principal, desperate to know what to do. She pointed out that Feng was already seriously hurt from that one attack. The Shinmen principal sighed. They had no choice but to give up. Kai then announced that Shinmen Martial University had chosen to forfeit the match. Up against the unstoppable Subai from Jiangsu Martial University, they stood no chance. Next up was Funan Martial University. Some in the crowd couldn't believe it. How could Shinmen forfeit without even trying to fight back? But others knew better. Against a monster like Subai, forfeiting was the smart move to avoid total humiliation. Yushin was relieved that Shinmen gave up on their own. It meant Subai could save his energy for the next match against Funan. But Tianxiang had to ask, does Subai even need to save his strength? Qinggu reminded them that Funan's captain was a poison-type user. This next fight wouldn't be nearly as simple. Kai then declared the start of the match. Xiao let out a huge roar at his new opponent Mai, but Mai just told him to wait. No need to rush into things. As a mid-level bronze rank, Mai admitted that Subai was way too strong and that he was no match for him, so he offered a deal. Subai was confused, asking what kind of deal he could possibly want. But as Mai was stalling, he was secretly activating his power behind his back. Subai realized this guy was just trying to buy time. Poison users take a while to power up. He immediately ordered Xiao to attack and the beast leaped forward, but Mai just smirked. He unleashed his toxic poison, asking if Subai had only just figured it out. And you and I both know this is where it gets really dangerous, as he screams that it's already too late. It doesn't matter how god-tier of a beast tamer he was, there was no escaping this. Mai unleashes his poison smoke, and Subai realizes he's completely surrounded. Qinggu shouts out in panic, realizing Subai totally underestimated his opponent. He'd heard stories that Mai had taken down tons of high-level beasts with that poison. Hearing this, Yuzhen starts to freak out, asking what they can possibly do. But the principal, cool as a cucumber, telling them not to panic just yet. He knows the match isn't over until it's over. Blinded by the smoke, Xiao swings wildly, but Mai just dances around him. He laughs, taunting them that while they can't see a thing, he's perfectly fine. To him, this is just a game of waiting to see how long Subai can hold out. He chuckles, thinking Subai got way too careless. Because once his poison is out, the fight is basically already won. Then he sees Subai just sitting on the floor. Is he meditating? Now I know what you're thinking. Is he giving up? Trust me, just watch this. Mai smirks because his attack is far more than just some toxic mist. He leaps from behind, claws out for the kill, but a shield materializes out of nowhere. The shield blocks everything, and Subai calmly asks if he really just attacked from behind. He tells Mai it's too bad because he ran into the worst possible opponent. Mai just screams in disbelief, asking how he could possibly see him. How did he block a full power claw attack while inside the poison cloud? The principal explains it to the others. It's a skill called Origin Confluence. Naturally, they have no idea what that is. He tells them it's a top-tier beast tamer talent, allowing Subai to use his beast's own defenses. Subai then tells Mai it's time to wrap this up, because his poison mist stinks. Mai is stunned, but what happens next leaves him completely floored. Xiao suddenly appears right in his face, and he realizes he's been exposed the whole time. And just like that, Mai is launched clean out of the arena. Xiao roars, proud that Subai is just that overpowered, beating a poison user in his own mist. Yanren yells out, promising she won't let Subai leave her in the dust. The entire stadium starts chanting Subai's name. And Xiao lets out a massive victory roar. The announcer declares that with Mai unable to continue, his university forfeits the match. The champion of the provincial leg is Jiangsu Martial University, led by Subai. You and I just witnessed a legend being crowned. Subai and a now tiny Xiao step off stage. The principal congratulates him, saying he brought glory to their school. He praises Subai for doing an incredible job. Sabai, ever the opportunist, immediately replies that in that case, the principal should give him more resources. He wants extra support for his cultivation. The principal instantly realizes he's being hustled, but thinks to himself he's not that gullible. He tells them that since they won the championship, the military will be giving them an award. They'll receive military points, which they can use to trade for resources. They'll just have to go to the logistics department to claim them. But Tianxiang points out a serious flaw in that plan. Sabai was the only one who actually fought in the final competition. So do the rest of them even get a cut of the reward? The principal just freezes. All right, let's jump in. The principal reminds them in just 3 days they're heading to Luo City to participate. The event, the regional league, he asks if they're confident, and of course Sabai is. He proudly boasts that he is, but maybe not the others. The principal just turns away, saying he knows everyone is completely exhausted. He tells them to go back and get some serious rest. They have to prepare for the regional league in 3 days and give it their absolute best. Sabai tries to bring up the whole resources issue again, but the principal cuts him off. He says he's just looking forward to Sabai's amazing performance. See you in 3 days, he says, leaving Sabai thinking one thing. The moment you mention resources, the principal runs faster than anyone. Soon, news about the Provincial 100 Schools League is spreading like wildfire. Everyone hears the top 3 schools in the league are Imperial Capital Martial University, Magic City Martial University, and the Great Wall Guard Army Martial University. A reporter adds that a ton of young prodigies have appeared. And here's where our boy's name goes viral, the most dazzling of them all, Sabai. He's from Jiangdu Martial University, and the reporter explains how he won. He single-handedly defeated 5 opponents to win the Jiangdu Provincial Championship. For all 3 battles, they show a picture of Sabai declaring that a strong youth makes a strong country. They hope other students will be inspired. They want everyone to learn from Sabai, aim for the top, and bring glory to their schools. The whole country is buzzing. Meanwhile, back at the Jiangdu training room, Sabai finally arrives, glad to have found a place with some peace and quiet. He summons B, telling the little guy he knows it's anxious to fight. Don't worry, he says, you'll definitely get your chance to shine on stage. He pats B's head, mentioning he only had enough merit points for 4 silver high-tier beast cores. So B is gonna have to eat them sparingly. But B doesn't care, it eagerly reaches for the core and Sabai hands it over, gone in a flash. And then wait for it, Sabai is floored as B explodes with a powerful light. The system pops up, B has advanced to the bronze initial tier. It's evolved into a sharp gold-white tiger, Sabai can't believe it. After just 1 core, B leveled up instantly, he confirms it. B has truly activated its white tiger bloodline, he decides to give it the rest. All the remaining silver high-tier cores, B is beyond excited. Sabai tells him to take his time eating, no one's gonna steal them. He wonders if B can level up again after eating all of them. But after B finishes, nothing, Sabai's confusion starts to grow. Just as he's about to be disappointed, B erupts in a blinding light once again. The energy fills the entire training room, and Sabai watches in complete awe. B transforms into a legit white tiger, and he yells out in excitement. Unbelievably cool, way cooler than Xiao the system shows B's new stats. 30% of its white tiger bloodline is now activated, boosting all its attributes. Its talent got a massive enhancement too. Seeing this, Sabai is hyped. He tells B those 4 silver high-tier beast cores were absolutely worth it. Its new attributes are just completely heaven-defying. He calls B a good boy because now, the regional league's outcome will depend on him, and you and I both know it's gonna be epic. Inside a massive mansion in the imperial capital, a man watching the news takes notice. He finds this Sabai kid interesting, realizing he's hiding a whole lot of secrets. So the man orders his secretary to investigate Sabai immediately. He even speculates that Sabai's turtle might be crazier than the one Luan had. The secretary just nods respectfully. 3 days later at the Luo Martial University. The competition is underway. The Django team arrives looking around. They immediately confirm that this venue is way bigger than their own. Suddenly they hear the roar of the Luo students, a clear attempt at intimidation. The principal just smirks, seeing right through their little power play. But then he spots something, an entire empty section in the audience. The principal says he heard only 9 martial universities were joining this year. One of the schools apparently just decided to forfeit voluntarily. He asks the principal if that means one team gets a bye in the draw. And you and I know what that means, an uneven number means a free pass. The principal nods, it all boils down to luck, pure and simple. Whoever gets that bye advances straight to the next round, no questions asked. This makes our MC actually hope they don't get the lucky draw. He was counting on these matches to earn points and feed his super hungry pets. He looks at his principal and says no matter what, he has to fight this time. The girl in their group chimes in, shouting that they want to compete too. Their principal just laughs, reassuring them with a confident smile. He promises that this time, every single one of them will get their chance to fight. A moment later, the professor announces the draw is officially complete. But as he reads the matchups, Sabai hears something that makes his jaw drop. Their school's name called out for the first round bye. The principal erupts in laughter, calling him their ultimate lucky charm. Yukine tells him he should buy a lottery ticket with that kind of luck. But for Sabai, I know what you're thinking, this is the worst possible news. He was desperate to compete, so for him this is just rotten luck. The first match kicks off, and Fushin Martial University's fighter is struggling hard. 2 long hours later, the professor announces the quarterfinals have wrapped up. He then begins to announce the pairings for the second round. And that's when everyone hears it, the university with the bye this time is still Jongo Martial University. The entire stadium absolutely loses it. The crowd erupts, furiously asking what the hell is going on. Is this rigged? People are on their feet, screaming about the ridiculousness of this luck. They shout that Jongo University hasn't done a single thing but watch from the stands. Others complain they traveled all this way just to watch the show. Only to see Sabai kicking back in the audience, eating peanuts and drinking cola. The pink-haired girl wonders out loud, is Liu University scared to fight Sabai? Is it possible they're rigging the buys just to avoid facing him directly? The yellow-haired girl agrees, screaming that the competition system is unfair. She demands to know how a top-tier fighter like Sabai keeps getting benched. A military representative finally steps up, trying to explain the situation. And trust me, after his thorough inspection, he says there's no foul play. Yeah, right. All right, you and I are dropping into this university tournament, and the principal is absolutely losing it. Why? Because they've officially ranked 3rd in the entire competition zone. If they win just one more match, they're heading to the finals for all 5 major zones. But Super Boo isn't celebrating, he's just frustrated. They got another bye, and he's wondering if they'll ever get to actually compete. An hour later, the professor announces the moment everyone's been waiting for. The final match for this zone's competition is about to begin. He calls out the matchup, Jiangju Martial University versus Lan Martial University. Kingshu grins at the principal, it's finally their turn to fight. Yang Chang immediately asks the principal to let him go up first this time. The principal tells everyone to calm down, sure. They've been lucky but they can't afford to get complacent. He then calls out the lineup, Yang Qiang and Ning Bing. They're up first and second, King and Kingshu will take 3rd and 4th. And Sabai, he's the anchor saved for the grand finale. The team roars in agreement. They all swear to bring glory to the school, but Sabai's heart sinks a little. He's waited so long he thinks he might not get a chance. Now watch what happens next. The first match starts with Yang Qiang facing off against a bronze mid-level opponent. He's only a bronze low-level, and in the end, Yang Qiang suffers a narrow defeat. Next up is Ning Bing, who hits the stage and immediately flips a switch. He goes into a full berserker rage, no defense, just pure reckless fighting. And it works, Ning Bing forces his opponent back again and again, winning the second match. For match 3 we have King, the school beauty, who's about to prove she's no joke. Her soft whip technique is a perfect blend of offense and defense. She sends her opponent flying clean out of the ring for the win. Another victory, their teammate claps wildly, shouting that they've won again. The principal is just floored, he feels like the strength of his students has suddenly skyrocketed, making him wonder if Sabai somehow influenced them. Meanwhile, Sabai's just thinking about when it'll finally be his turn to fight. After King's match, the host calls up Kingshu. He looks at his opponents and says they can both come at him together to save time. His opponent warns him not to get cocky or he's going to lose miserably. The professor explains that the rules do allow one person to challenge multiple opponents. With that settled, he officially announces the start of the match. Sabai watches the 1 versus 2 fight begin, and that's when it hits him. He realizes Kingshu has no intention of giving him a turn, and yeah, I'd be pissed too. Kingshu closes his eyes, raises a single finger, and apologizes to his opponents. Suddenly, a massive glowing tree erupts from the ground behind him, shocking the crowd. He's a wood-type supernatural. Kingshu then orders the tree to attack. Its weapons, a storm of leaves. His opponents scramble to cover their faces, shouting that the leaves look dangerous, right before getting sliced up. One of them yells for his partner to hang on, believing Kingshu's power can't last long. Sabai is just stunned, a wood-type user that can do this. Summoning a 1,000-year-old maple tree, he realizes Kingshu's power is on another level. Absolutely terrifying. Meanwhile, the principal notices that Kingshu's strength has jumped up yet again, proving he's really living up to the hype. From that fight, the audience could see that Jiangju Martial University's current class was absolutely stacked with hidden talent, one dark horse after another. But they still believed Sabai was the strongest, especially since his tamed beast had already taken down a golden-ranked opponent. Meanwhile, the 2 opponents gathered in the center, seeing no sign of Qingshu's attacks letting up. Qingshu gathered a bunch of lives and ordered them to break through. He launched them at his opponents, and the leaves struck, sending them floating away and right off the stage. The professor then declared that Jiangju Martial University had won the round, congratulating both them and Luo Martial University for advancing to the national finals. The principal told Qingshu that his performance this time absolutely stunned everyone, praising him for a job well done. Qingshu thanked him, but then the principal announced that the real hero of the competition was still Sabai. Now I know what you're thinking, and yeah, Sabai was totally shocked. He wondered if the principal was making fun of him for not even stepping on stage. The principal then explained that if Sabai hadn't gotten 2 lucky buys in the draw, they wouldn't have won so easily. And the whole crowd dead silent. The principal told everyone to get some rest, because in 1 week they were heading off to the national finals. He also told them that in addition to the military contribution rewards each student had already earned, the school would be providing extra resources as training bonuses. This made everyone cheer like crazy, while Sabai just sighed in frustration. He was thinking he was going back empty-handed again, and now he had to figure out how to gather resources for his bottomless stomach pets. Meanwhile, in the Lin family mansion, Yuan called for Yanren, who was busy training. He told her it was time to eat, but she kept going, saying she wasn't hungry and wanted to practice for another hour. I'll see you. Ever since Sabai joined the 100 Schools League, all Yanren did was watch his matches and train like a complete maniac, forgetting to even rest. She then told Yuan that the pills he had given her were almost all gone, asking if he could get her more from her father. She wanted to increase her strength as fast as humanly possible. Yuan agreed and walked away, thinking about how many top families in the imperial capital had proposed marriage to her father, only for her to reject every single one. Yuan had absolutely no idea what kind of spell Sabai had put on her. 7 days later, they finally arrived in Magic City. Everyone was completely awestruck seeing the Magic City University gate, made of solid, sparkling gold. Sabai asked if the gate alone cost billions, muttering that it was a total waste. But the principal replied that it was worth way more. The materials alone had cost 1.8 billion. He added that the gate was built in a single day by 20 gold level and 5 platinum level experts. The motto of Magic City Martial Arts University and that insane gate were both there to show one thing: that only the strong can protect the nation. A man appeared at the gate to welcome them, and trust me, this is where the real competition begins. He calls the principal Joe and introduces himself as Jiang Ming, the vice president. All right, let's watch our crew arrive at the legendary Magic City Martial Arts University. Ming tells them to follow, and Yang Chang immediately starts whispering to Manny. He's not impressed, saying Magic City University is pretty arrogant. Their own principal came all this way, and all they sent out was the student council. The vice president no less. Manny responds that if they were from Imperial City, she bets their principal would have rolled out the red carpet personally. As they follow Ming deeper into the massive campus, Subai spots something incredible and asks Principal Joe about it. Turns out it's a state-of-the-art gravity adjustment training ground. Subai comments that if their academy had one, they could produce hundreds of silver-level students. Ouch, that one definitely stung the principal. A moment later, they arrive at a huge building, and Ming explains it's their hotel. This is where they'll be staying and eating, and Ming tells them about the first floor. It has a 24-hour buffet, and all the ingredients are meat from ferocious beasts, all cooked by top chefs. He explains that these meals aren't just for show, they're specially made to enhance a martial artist's blood energy. And here's the best part you and I were waiting for, there is no limit. Ming confirms it's all you can eat, a welcome gift since they traveled so far. Magic City University would never let their guests go hungry, after all. So he tells them to eat their hearts out. Subai needs no other invitation. He bolts towards the building, laughing, telling the others it's time for a feast. Ming, completely baffled, turns to Joe and asks if Subai is starving or something. Yang Chang just smirks, you have no idea how much that guy can eat. Suddenly, Moni panics, if Subai gets in there first, it's game over. There'll be nothing left for them, the whole team makes a mad dash inside. They know it's now or never for dinner, leaving Ming utterly confused. Joe just plays it cool, saying young people have a lot of energy and apologizes. The next day at the competition venue, Yang Chang is completely blown away. He's shouting about how the Magic City competition arena is on another level. Joe calls everyone over and tells them to quit acting like country bumpkins. Then he gets straight to business, explaining the competition rules. He informs them the final tournament includes 13 different martial arts universities. Additionally, the Great Walugard Military Academy is also competing. And since they're directly under the military, they get an automatic entry into the top 4. Yang Chang immediately asks why the military academy gets special treatment. Why does the Great Walugard Military Academy get a free pass? Monty chimes in, yelling that it's unfair, but pay attention, the reason is intense. Joe explains it's because that academy is a training base for military geniuses. He adds that it's the only martial arts university in the entire country, located on the actual front lines of the war against the multiracial invaders. Subai is shocked, a school on a battlefield, that sounds absolutely insane. Joe agrees, explaining this is why the national finals are packed with hidden monsters. He warns them to never underestimate a single opponent, then lays out the strategy. Subai will take the lead and Chingu will be their anchor, which everyone agrees to. Just then the host's voice rings out, and you know what that means, it's about to begin. Calling for quiet because the 100 schools competition finals were kicking off. Let's check out the draw for the very first round of matches. First up, Jiangzhou Martial Arts University is taking on Yokohama Martial Arts University. In the second match, we've got Imperial City Martial Arts versus East China. And wrapping up the round, it's Magic City Martial Arts versus Nanjing. Joe tells his team that for their third match, things are looking pretty good. Their luck held out, they dodged all 3 of the top-ranked universities. Yang Chang is hyped, immediately asking Joe to let him go first. He figures Yokohama is roughly on their level, so it's a good warm-up. But Subai cuts in, loudly demanding he go first to set the tone for Jiangzhou. The truth, he just wants to rack up some easy military credits. So he steps onto the stage, and his opponent immediately recognizes him. And here comes the trash talk, he says making it this far is impressive enough. But for Jiangzhou Martial Arts University, this is the end of the line. Subai, completely unfazed, just calls out to Xiao to end this quickly. Instantly, Xiao transforms into its colossal form and lets out a deafening roar. The crowd goes wild, totally shocked and amazed by the sheer size of it. His opponent, on the other hand, frozen in pure terror, screaming it's way too big. He starts yelling that this has to be some kind of cheating. Xiao just effortlessly shoves the guy right out of the ring, still screaming. Surprised by how weak the dude was, Subai casually notes that he hadn't even started on his peanuts yet. His opponent is still on the floor, fuming. He's yelling that he thought beast tamers were supposed to be weaklings. And yet here they are, manhandling martial artists like it's a joke. A woman in the audience can't believe her eyes. Did Subai really bring a stool? A guy filming the whole thing wonders if this isn't a little too disrespectful. But another fan just yells at the loser, telling him he clearly hasn't watched any of Subai's previous matches, otherwise he'd know the deal. He'd know Subai's turtle has absolutely insane defense and power. Meanwhile, Subai is just chilling on stage, snacking on peanuts when a woman storms in. Now pay attention because just when you think it's over, she accuses Jangjo of humiliation. She dashes straight for Xiao, screaming that she'll make them pay for this insult. Subai he's completely lost in a comic book, still munching on his peanuts. Xiao meets her attack with its heavy strike technique and wins in a single blow. Yang Xiang just stares, commenting that Subai didn't just bring snacks. He brought his own stool too, so this was the attitude he was talking about. Zhou just sighs, saying Subai really has no idea how to keep a low profile. I mean, he is publicly humiliating their opponents, but then Zhou grins. He proudly wonders how he's ever gonna face Yokohama's principal after this. But Qingyu ruins the moment, telling Zhou not to get too cocky just yet. He points to the other stage. A completely different level of battle is going down. You and I need to see this. He asks Zhou if that's the team captain from Imperial City. Zhou looks over and sees a massive student unleashing an attack on a red-haired kid. Suddenly, a massive explosion rocks the entire stage. The huge student collapses, and the red-haired fighter is the only one left standing. Alright, let's dive in. Flames flicker on his fingers as he apologizes for hitting his opponent too hard. Zhou realizes the red-haired kid is a fire attribute user. And not just any user, a martial artist at the peak of silver level. Yang Qiang acknowledges the insane strength coming out of Imperial City University. Qinggu notes that if the Great Wall Guards Academy doesn't step up, things look grim. Only Magic City Martial Arts University might be able to stop them. A moment later, Subai wins his match for Jiangju University. Next, a member from Liu Martial Arts steps up. He tells his principal to let him handle Subai. This is Wang Mingun. A silver-ranked fighter, he assures his principal that he'll make Jiangju hurt. He's going to make them feel the pain of a 1 versus 5 beatdown. The principal agrees. But he tells Mingun to rely on his speed, not to go head-to-head with that monster turtle. And now it begins. Pay attention because this is Subai's match against Liu University. Mingun immediately starts taunting him, saying his last win was pure luck. But this time he claims Jiangju's good fortune has completely run out. Subai sizes him up silver rank wind user and calmly tells Xiao Ba to go. Feel the power of the wind, Mingun shouts, making his grand declaration. He's about to show him a silver ranker's strength, wrapping himself in strong air currents. And just like that, he uses his wind-enhanced speed to dash right past Xiao Ba. But then, pure shock, he realizes gravity itself can't even lock onto the turtle. Knowing he can't take on the turtle, Mingun pivots, turning his attack towards Subai. He hurls a wind blade, calling him a bronze brat and telling him to say goodbye. Subai's reaction, he just sips his cola, annoyed the wind is messing up snack time. So Mingun unleashes several more wind blades just to make sure Subai goes down. He's oozing with confidence as the smoke clears, casually making a remark. Oops, might have hit a bit too hard, he smirks. You should go rest and recover. But when the dust finally settles, Subai is standing there completely unscathed. Thanks to his golden shell ability, he hasn't suffered a single injury. Mingun is in total disbelief, questioning if this is actually source synchronization. His mind is racing, how is any of this even possible? He also can't believe someone actually managed to master Luan's divine technique. After finishing his cola, Subai asks Mingun if he's really that confident in his speed. He calls Xiao Ba back, brings out Bai, and says if he wants a speed match, he'll get one. Bai stretches its little body as Subai announces that it is now Bai's time to shine. Mingun laughs mockingly, asking if Subai is stupid, and honestly, can you blame him? The entire audience bursts into laughter, wondering if he seriously brought out a cat. Some people are questioning what university he's even from. Meanwhile, others are just commenting on how cute the little cat is. Even Subai's own teammates are confused, wondering if he's trying to mock his opponent. First he brought out a stool, then a small cola, and now his pet cat. Moni worries out loud, reminding them their opponent is a wind attribute ability user. But Joe just tells them not to rush it and to just watch. That is no ordinary cat. Mingun scoffs and tells Subai to just bring the turtle back out instead. But Subai casually sits on his stool and tells Bai not to hit its opponent too hard. He reminds it that this is just a match, not a battlefield. Bai lets out a loud growl. A massive tiger shadow erupts from it, and trust me, Mingun is finally starting to panic. He thought the shadow was just his imagination, but before he could react, Bai explodes into its white tiger form and lunges right at Mingun. And you gotta love this part. A stuttering Mingun just screams that it got bigger. The crowd is stunned. They realize Bai isn't just a cat, it's a massive tiger. They watch in total awe as Bai launches a lightning-fast attack in the arena. Yangqiang asks Chingu if he's seeing things straight. Did Subai's cat actually just transform into a white tiger? But Chingu just calmly asks a question. Is that Subai's second tamed beast? Tianxiang is shocked, wondering how that's possible. Even for a silver rank beast tamer, taming a second beast is incredibly difficult. Ju simply replies that it looks like Subai has way more secrets than they know. Meanwhile, Mingun manages to infuse his blade with wind energy and takes a swing. He slashes at Bai's neck, only to realize in shock that it was just an afterimage. He shouts in disbelief, wondering how that white tiger could be so fast. Bai is now just a blur, circling around him as he's stuck in the center. Mingun refuses to believe it, yelling there's no way Bai's speed can surpass the wind. Desperate, he changes his target and declares his new last-ditch strategy. Pay attention because here comes the classic desperate villain move, attack the tamer. He dashes towards Subai, screaming for him to die, but our guy just sits there calmly. Before Mingun even gets close, Bai suddenly materializes right in front of him. Impossible, Mingun screams. Bai then casually swipes at him, sending him flying. He crashes hard onto the ground outside the stage, and the host immediately calls the match. Subai is the winner. The audience is completely and utterly stunned. They just watched a mid-tier bronze-level fighter defeat a silver rank captain. People are questioning if it was even real. The guy came from a prestigious university. That wasn't a fight, it was complete domination. One professor asks a pointed question. Why does Subai's white tiger feel even fiercer than his turtle? Another professor just wants to know what's up with that massive tiger and why it's so ferocious. Meanwhile, the crowd erupts into cheers for Subai and Bai at the judges' panel. The bald judge admits he's never even heard of Subai before this. He asks what year Subai is in at Jiangsu Martial Arts University. Instead of answering, the gray-haired judge asks if he's right about something. He thinks even the top students from the elite universities aren't this strong. The bald judge finds it unbelievable. Jiangsu University actually produced a monster this year. The gray-haired judge just smiles, seeing the writing on the wall. He adds that Jiangsu Martial Arts University is about to make a huge comeback. But over in the Imperial City Martial Arts University rest area, not everyone is celebrating. The Imperial students are scoffing, calling the guy from Liuhai University way too weak. They're irritated that some country bumpkin like Subai brought 2 tamed beasts. And to top it off, he's freeloading on their buffet that costs tens of thousands. Trust me, you and I both know this is leading to another fight down the line. Their captain Zihyuan tells his team that Subai is way too cocky. So if they face him in the semifinals, their orders are to beat him to death. His teammates agree. It's decided Subai needs to be taught a serious lesson. A moment later, Subai wins again as Bai pins his opponent, forcing him to forfeit. He then secures another easy victory, with Bai just shoving the next guy out of the ring. Subai's rampage continues, as he easily tosses another opponent off the stage. He shattered his third opponent's barrier like glass and threw him out of the ring. The host makes it official. Jiangsu Martial University is in the top 4. The crowd goes absolutely insane for Subai, and even Joe is crying tears of joy. He's screaming that the heavens have blessed them. Jiangsu Martial University finally made it. They're in the top 4. Chingu praises Subai for a job well done while his team goes wild. His other teammates are cheering their heads off, roaring that no one will ever dare look down on Jiangsu Martial University again. Joe walks up to Subai beaming. He tells him he's exceeded all expectations and is the greatest contributor to Jiangju Martial University in centuries. But Subai just humbly says it's his duty. Joe continues, explaining that reaching the top 4 has completed their entire mission. This achievement, he declares, will be the most glorious chapter in their university's history. He then assures everyone that their contributions are about to be rewarded. But hearing this, Subai is just shocked, completely stunned by his words. Complete, he asks, the top 4 matches haven't even started yet. He suspects Joe plans to just hand over the championship's massive rewards. $1 billion worth of resources straight to the top-tier schools without a fight. Now you and I know our boy isn't having any of that. Joe tries to explain that their first goal was just to get into the top 6. Securing a spot in the top 4 was just a hopeful dream, and now that they've done it, their objective is fulfilled. He then asks Subai if he's actually thinking of challenging the 3 monster universities at the top of the food chain. Even Chingu is surprised at first, but then he responds with pure confidence. Why not challenge them, he says, pointing over at Madu Martial University. He shouts that their university's front gate alone cost $1.8 billion. And even if Jiangju gets 4th place, they could never afford that kind of extravagance. He argues they need to aim for 1st place and rebuild their own gate with the prize money. They can't let down the people of Jiangju who believe in them, they have to strive for the top. Chingu agrees they can't just give up. Yang Xiang and Tian Xiang immediately voice their support as well, and you know what? Tian Xiang, who is always annoyed by Subai, admits his performance made him worthy. He's earned the title of captain and can be trusted with the final matches. Joe just praises their fiery spirit and courage, calling their determination commendable. He instructs them to go rest and get ready for tomorrow's final matches. A fight for 1st place. As they leave the arena, Joe just watches them go. He shakes his head with a small smile, thinking they're all still so young. So impulsive for daring to challenge the 3 titans, later at a secure location. Inside the Dragon Nation's Supreme Military Command, a report is being given. The 100 Universities League is about to enter its finals, wrapping up in 2 days. Meanwhile, military preparations for a massive counterattack are now complete. An offensive against the Myriad Races, the forces are all gathered on the front lines. They're ready to launch the attack at any given moment. The captain looks on. He praises the team for their efforts and makes an official announcement to the higher-ups. Once the university tournament is over, the counterattack against the Myriad Races begins. And trust me, you're not ready for this next part. All students will be deployed to the battlefield. The higher-ups agree without a moment of hesitation, their decision made. They swore to avenge the tens of thousands of students and mentors who had died. They vowed that anyone who offended the Dragon Nation, no matter how far they ran, would be punished. The next morning at the Madu Hotel, Subai was in his room cultivating with Long's book while his pets were chowing down. Suddenly, stick with me, a wild power-up just dropped, activating the Holy Beast armament. The entire hotel shakes violently, shocking even him and his pets. Startled, Subai wonders what just happened when a system notification pops right up, congratulating him on successfully comprehending the Beast Tamer's exclusive talent skill. Transposition. The system explains that within a range of 1 kilometer, Subai and his tamed beasts can swap positions instantly, ignoring all restrictions. Subai is stunned. He realizes this means he and Xiao Ba could instantly swap places. He wonders what kind of broken skill this is, but after a moment, he decides not to overthink it. More skills can't hurt, and it might have some insane effects on the battlefield. He then grabs his bag and calls his pets, saying it's time to go. Dressed and ready. He holds both of them and declares they're going to challenge the 3 top-tier schools. Later at the venue, the host addresses the audience, announcing that after a day of intense battles, the 100 Universities League has finally entered the top 4 competition stage. Now pay attention because the next team is on another level. She introduces the Great Wall Guardian Military Academy. She explains that the Great Wall Guardian Military Academy was originally a military base for the Great Wall Guardians. Established in 1907, it was one of the first military bases built on the Myriad Races battlefield. Over its 94-year history, The Myriad Races had launched hundreds of campaigns against the Great Wall Guardian Military Academy. But its students and mentors have fought to the death, killing countless myriad race beasts and powerful warriors. And yet the Academy still stands tall. The host adds that the motto of the Great Wall Guardian Military Academy is as long as the myriad races exist, the Great Wall will never fall. She then tells the audience that the strongest human, the only king-level expert, Naiching, is the honorary principal of the Great Wall Guardians. Because of him, the strongest warriors of the myriad races dare not set foot in the Academy's territory. As the strongest martial arts university in the Dragon Nation and the frontline barrier of humanity, the Great Wall Guardians are well-deserved of their title. The audience knows that the Great Wall Guardian Military Academy is a city of heroes, and every student inside is considered a hero. They also know that Madu and Capital Martial University are already monsters. Yet the Great Wall Guardian Academy is even stronger, making them imagine how terrifying their strength must be. A man in the crowd asks if the host said they only had 5 team members and no substitutes. Another man scoffs, reminding him that this is the Great Wall Guardian Military Academy. They don't need substitutes. Joe explains to his students that king-level expert Naiching is the bulwark of humanity, and that even having the honor of fighting against the Great Wall Guardian Military Academy is an achievement. But trust me, listen to what Subai asks next. He wants to know when he can become humanity's bulwark, just like Naiching. Alright, the top 4 matches are about to begin, and trust me, you're not gonna wanna miss these results. First up, the Great Wall Guardian Military Academy versus Capital Martial University. And in the second match, it's Madu Martial University against Jiangzhou Martial. In the resting area, Zixuan is just chilling on his phone. He tells his team the match is boring because they're up against Jiangzhou. In fact, he can't even be bothered to make a move against them. Calling them weak opponents, a blue-haired woman on his team agrees. She says that beating Jiangzhou wouldn't even count as a glorious victory. A blonde woman chimes in, calling Jiangzhou nothing more than troublemakers. She questions how they even made it this far. Now, you and I know that kind of trash talk never ends well. A male teammate then begs Zixuan to let him take the match. He swears he'll take down all of Jiangzhou single-handedly. A moment later, the host calls Hanjin, the captain of the Great Wall Guardians, a lord-level expert and grandson of General Han Dong. Hanjin hits the stage, decked out in purple-gold armor forged from diamond-level cores. Without a single moment of hesitation, he turns to face Wanjiang from Capital Martial. He tells him they shouldn't waste any time, then gets straight to the point. He challenges Wanjiang, asking if he dares to fight him right now. The audience erupts. They realize the match between Capital Martial and Great Wall is starting immediately. Kicking off with a captain versus captain showdown, a true clash of titans. A king versus king match, oh yeah, you and I are about to see some real fireworks. Wanjiang, the captain of Capital Martial, leaps onto the stage completely unfazed. He just casually asks Hanjin why he's making such a big deal out of it. The crowd, especially the women, cheer wildly, calling Wanjiang their handsome idol. Joe turns to Subai, commenting that the match is heating up right from the get-go. He adds that youth is truly a wonderful thing, but Subai simply asks Joe a question. Is Wanjiang really that handsome? Because he honestly doesn't see it. He then subtly elbows Yangchang, telling him to go up first and show their opponents their strength. Yangchang, totally confused, asks if he's really allowed to. Meanwhile, on the stage, Hanjin takes his stance, confidently shouting for them to begin the fight. He then tells Wanjiang that he'll allow him to make the very first move.
We'll drag each image frame and we drag each image frame in to make the images run a drag drop into CapCut. And similarly with the audio file, we also drag like that all audio. I guarantee that all audio and images and videos are all created by me. So after I've dragged the audio and images, I will have a version like this. I will insert effects into each frame to create visual appeal for viewers. Finally, I will review the video one more time to see if there are any parts